everybody. John Solly from Pro Football Weekly here alongside Arthur Arkish. Both of us coming from the home offices here. I'm in our office in DeKalb. Arthur is at home and taking some time away from the Pro Football Weekly Draft Magazine, which is just going to be awesome. It's going to be a great product for you guys to buy. There's so much great information there, but I know Arthur is working 24/7 on that, and we're coming into crunch time on getting that done. But Arthur taking a little bit of time away because Sunday, kind of a big day in the NFL. One may argue the biggest day of the NFL season. Arthur and I are gonna talk Super Bowl. Arthur, how you doing today, man?
Everything's good. Yeah, appreciate it, John. It's nice to I'm here remotely in Lisle, and nice to be able to work from the home office and still get a chance to do things like this. And as you said, preview not only the biggest game in the NFL season, but I think it'll be center stage in the sporting and really, frankly, most of the universe period on Sunday. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it usually is. So let's just get right to it, Arthur. What do you see as like the most intriguing matchup in this game here between the Patriots and the Falcons on Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, I mean, I think the kind of the easy answer, sort of the cop-out almost, is just how the Patriots are going to contend with Julio Jones. Goes without saying. But I don't really know what to expect there. You know, there's one line of thinking Malcolm Butler will play star corner and follow him all over the place. I tend to think it'll be more of a collaborative effort with a lot of Logan Ryan involved too. And all that even being said, because the Falcons have a trillion other weapons, I'm equally intrigued just to see if the Patriots can keep Tom Brady upright. That's the other big storyline, I think. Is there a way for the Falcons to get a pass rush? And to me, that's probably going to turn out to be the biggest difference in the game, because if they can't get that done, I don't really think they can win. And I don't know whether that'll be the case or not. The Falcons haven't rushed passers super consistently, but they certainly do have the type of speed and the right kind of guys if they can get it all to align, if you will, Sunday. What do you think, John? Yeah. Tell me another matchup we haven't talked about.
Oh, I absolutely think you hit on the biggest matchup, and that is, can the Falcons get home against Tom Brady? You know, Vic Beasley, the NFL leader in sacks, he can certainly get there occasionally, but the more that we've talked about this game, the more we've read about this game, and the more you've watched the Patriots, the way you pressure Tom Brady is up the middle. You know, you get the offensive line up the middle, and I don't think the Falcons really have the personnel to do that. Do you?
If they do, it's not real obvious. You know, Grady Jarrett, a nice player, only in year 2, I think. Rashid Hageman only in year 3. Hageman coming off probably the best game of his life, actually, against the Packers. So I guess that potentially bodes well. At least the timing of that was good. But I haven't noticed Vic Beasley as much as I would have thought in the playoffs for the Falcons to be making this type of run up to the Super Bowl. I haven't noticed Vic Beasley a whole lot since December, quite frankly. And Dwight Freeney, part of me I'm sort of wanting this romantic story where Freeney is the one who sort of takes the day and rides off into the sunset, maybe with the Super Bowl MVP even, but I don't know how realistic that is. Nate Soldier, a pretty good left tackle too, and that's kind of been the story. The Patriots offensive line, very, very good against Pittsburgh, not so much against Houston. So we'll see what Dan Quinn has up his sleeve. I don't think he wants to send a lot of pressure. We've seen too often what Tom Brady does to that, but he may not have any choices for the reasons we just outlined. I don't think there's a ton of obvious candidates to be racking up the sacks and pressures come Sunday.
Yeah, and if the Falcons are going to be pressuring Brady or bringing extra guys to pressure him, they can't really blitz from depth, right? You can't send a guy, all of a sudden coming down from safety. You basically have to declare yourself a blitzer before the snap starts, because otherwise you're giving Tom Brady way too much time, and he's just going to carve up that Atlanta defense, isn't he?
I would think so, but I will say, surprisingly, Atlanta had some success off the edge with blitzing DBs against Aaron Rodgers. So that's kind of the other part of this to me. I know the Falcons defense has been trending the right way, and I know these guys are so young, no one's even told them they're not supposed to be playing this well as rookies and on the biggest stage on the planet. So that's one of the many elements of intrigue. But I in the back of my head, I can't help but wonder, you make Aaron Rodgers look totally mortal 2 weeks ago, but one game ago, obviously. Can you do that again against another future Hall of Famer, maybe the greatest of all time? It's a tough putt, but look, I guess that's kind of the beauty of this being the Super Bowl. They should all be tough putts. That's better than the alternative. I was crunching some numbers, John. 151. That's the combined point differential in these playoffs. So as long as we get something close, I don't care who wins. I just want to be entertained. Is that too much to ask?
I don't think it's too much to ask. Outside of that incredible finish to Cowboys-Packers, these playoffs have largely been a bust. And that ending was good enough that it may have saved, in my view, like the whole playoffs. But
yeah,
man, yeah, we need an entertaining game. But I think we are. I think we're going to get a shootout. First of all, I think that neither defense really can stop the other offense. I think the two offenses in this game are just so good, and the defenses just do not have enough. The Patriots, I don't think they have the speed to keep up with Atlanta's offense. I think if you're going to try and take away Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, the reason he is probably going to be NFL MVP is his ability to find everybody. What does he get, 13 different guys or something like that this year?
That's right.
Plus they have that great running game with Coleman and Freeman. So I think we're going to get a shootout. You seem to be nodding your head in agreement with that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I know the point total has been kind of in the area of 59, 60 points. I could definitely see it going over. And again, the Falcons have been playing a lot better defense. The Patriots bring in the NFL's #1 scoring unit. Everyone knows that. We should also point out, because I feel like everyone loves to use that stat and not mention that the Patriots haven't seen really anything like what they're going to see Sunday with Matt Ryan, with all of the diversity in that offense. And it's not to take anything away from the Steelers and the job that they did on Big Ben and Antonio Brown, obviously Le'Veon Bell before he got hurt. But the Patriots didn't have another option, and that's no issue with the Falcons. You mentioned those dangerous backs, and we haven't mentioned Taylor Gabriel. Mohamed Sanu has been really kind of Matt Ryan's go-to in big spots these playoffs. So a lot of weapons to contend with. And on the flip side, again, Atlanta very young defensively, but as much as Tom Brady has leaned on both Chris Hogan and Julian Edelman throughout the playoffs, it would be a mistake to forget about guys like Deion Lewis and James White. LeGarrette Blount, I think, could be a big wild card in this game just because you look at his size and his power up against that undersized Falcons defense. I was asked on a TV show last night, I was kind of put on the spot, if you have a Super Bowl MVP who isn't the two quarterbacks, who wouldn't be the two QBs, who would you say? For the Patriots, I said LeGarrette Blount, because I just think matchup-wise, even not knowing what Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels do with their backfield, we never do. It kind of seems to me like it could profile as sort of a LeGarrette Blount kind of game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if the Patriots, they need to limit the amount of possessions that Atlanta offense is going to get. And so it makes sense that LeGarrette Blount is going to be that guy. And the Patriots are going to have to run the ball, maybe more often than they want to. Or, Brady is not taking a snap until there's 1-2 seconds left on the play clock, I think.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, the other key for Atlanta, obviously, has been getting off to these fast starts. I think it's 8 weeks in a row they've scored a touchdown, or 8 games in a row. That's pretty remarkable. So, of course, the Patriots are going to be bent on trying not allow the Falcons to get off to a quick start. They'll be trying to get off to their own fast one. New England loves to pass to build the lead and then run to preserve it. So if that's the case where New England is able to get up, that's another instance where I could definitely see opportunities for Blount. But John, what else kind of stands out? I mean, with 2 weeks to preview this game, we're not coming up with, new angles that haven't already been hit on repeatedly, but it's kind of our last little primer before the week. So what else excites you before we get into some of the really fun stuff? Like, how are you going to celebrate the Super Bowl, and what are you going to be doing when you're not watching the game? What else? I mean, does Matt Ryan need this to properly punctuate his MVP season? Had a rough start to his career in terms of playoff appearances, but man, has he been on fire. I think he's got at least 3 touchdowns in his past 4 playoff starts now. That's a good stat I saw on TV. Tom Brady has 7 of them. Tom Brady's been in like 30-something playoff games. Matt Ryan's only played in 7 total.
Yeah, and I don't know about punctuating his season, but maybe punctuating his legacy. When we got down to the Final Four, you had Brady with all his rings, you had Ben with his rings, you had Aaron Rodgers with his ring, and then you had Matt Ryan, who has been spectacular this year and certainly at least above average for his entire career. without really much playoff success. So if we're talking legacy, let me ask you this question. We're talking legacy. Does this game matter more to Matt Ryan or to Tom Brady? Because you got Brady with the whole coming off the Deflategate suspension and all that, and then you got Matt Ryan who hasn't won a Super Bowl before. So which one does matter more for legacy, do you think?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I think I would lean pretty strongly toward Ryan just because we know how hard it is to get one. You just mentioned Aaron Rodgers. How hard has he been trying to get that second one? Drew Brees. Fishbane and I were talking about this, I think, in Mobile last week, trying to remember if Brees had one or two. It's amazing that he's only been to one, and it just shows how hard this can be. So, I think Ryan needs to get over the hump and kind of join that elite company. And then at the same time, Tom Brady trying to separate from already elite company, of course, in Bradshaw and his childhood hero, Montana. So to enter that rarest of rare air and get that 5th Super Bowl title would be awesome as well. And I think I know where you may be wanting to go next. Let's say Tom Brady does get number 5. Let's say he does get Super Bowl MVP number 3 or 4. We know who's handing him the hardware. Is that what you're truly most anxious to see or most curious to see?
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of rooting for the Patriots just for that, just for that scenario, just for that scenario of Roger Goodell having to hand the Lombardi Trophy over to the Patriots and over to Tom Brady. I think the reaction is going to be underwhelming, to be honest with you, but I just want the opportunity to see that. Even though, I would love to see the Falcons win, just for that little Schadenfreude at the end. That'll keep you tuned in. And most of the time when the game ends, I'm not watching the trophy ceremony. I don't care. I've probably turned it off, and I'm either going to bed or mingling with friends. But if the Patriots win, I'm going to tune in for the trophy ceremony. I'm actually gonna care about that for once in my life.
Well, Roger Goodell promised us on Wednesday that it's not an awkward dynamic. So that was either right before or after he told us Thursday Night Football is competitive. I was hoping he was going to say these playoffs have been so competitive. What a success they've been. But, I would imagine that Tom Brady would certainly take the high road. I don't think it would become any type of spectacle or an opportunity to stick it in his face. Just the fact that he would potentially be collecting the Lombardi Trophy from Roger Goodell, the guy who tried to sabotage his season. I think it really would kind of say it all without him saying anything at all. Yeah,
I think it does say enough. I think if you're really thinking that something, that sort of terrible or exciting or whatever is going to happen, it's probably going to be very understated and fine. And, it'll be only just a little bit awkward. And some folks will have some snarky things to say on Twitter, but, I'm holding out hope. But I'm not too hopeful for it.
There's going to be snark on Twitter. I'll tune in for that alone. That's
who would have thought? So let's talk about Sunday. I usually get together with friends. We have some fun things that we usually do. I think for entertainment purposes only. This is something that we do. That if you're looking for an idea for your Super Bowl party. This was introduced to us a couple of years ago. It's been great fun. So someone has to have a board game like Monopoly around in the house. Take all that money with you, take it to the party, divide it up evenly among all the people who want to participate in for entertainment purposes only, and then wager on everything during the game. And whoever has the most money at the end wins. But you can wager on next commercial is going to be a car commercial, or this is going to be a run play, or really anything. We had major ones on the halftime show, which songs the performer is going to do. So that's something that I really enjoy doing on Super Bowl. It keeps things interesting because if you have a bad game, but you're wagering on every play, that can be a good time. Arthur, do you have anything that you guys do during the Super Bowl?
Honestly, we kind of tend to switch it up. I haven't gotten into one set tradition because we'll either go somewhere different or we'll host. This year we're not hosting, which I'm grateful for. My house is a disaster, which you may or may not be able to see in the background. But we're going to go over to my friend's house down in the south suburbs. And this will be kind of an interesting year because Spencer, my son, who will be 2 in June, he's now at the age where that's a thing, and he is like a whirling dervish. So I know that I'm going to have one eye on him at all times, and I know that his attention span is going to last, maybe until close to kickoff. So
he's not going to watch the whole game quietly on the couch. Spencer's not going to watch the whole game quietly on the couch.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. We'll see how late he's able to stay up. He has a pretty strict 7:30 bedtime, so I guess that would get him probably somewhere into the third quarter. I don't know, what 5:30 kick or
5:30 kick? Yeah. So yeah, third quarter probably. Yeah, that's about what I'm to bed.
I'm looking forward to it. We obviously have Hub, our fearless leader, is down in Houston. He's been grinding all week, so I'm probably going to leave the fun deadline writing to him and just take the opportunity to, like you mentioned, try and have a little bit of snark available for Twitter. But I'm not going to be working too much. I'm going to be hanging out. I'm going to have a couple cold beverages, and we'll probably have some nice crock pot creations to bring over for like a potluck type deal, and should be fun. What do you think about the food and refreshments area of the Super Bowl? How do you attack that?
So normally it's kind of a potluck for us. Everyone will bring a dish, and we've had some good ones in the past. My wife makes these like little bacon wrapped weenies. There's like a little bit of brown sugar in there though. They're delightful. Honey, if you happen to be watching this, please make those on Sunday.
Make them now. There's supposed to be a bacon shortage. Did I hear that correctly?
No, that's false. That's actually fake news that there is a bacon shortage. I know.
The first fake news I'll celebrate. Okay, good.
Pretty easy, America. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm chowing down. And I, drink in moderation, obviously, for those of us watching, and never drink and drive, obviously. Okay. Arthur, how about you?
Yeah, I'm not sure what we'll make yet. Joyce, my wife, sometimes does like this buffalo chicken dip that's pretty tasty. So she actually asked me yesterday while she was going to the store if I had any requests, and I threw that out there. So I think we'll have some of that. In terms of beverages, I've kind of recently had a bit of a obsession with grapefruit IPA. It's a Ballast Point Sculpin IPA. And so no, it should be a lot of fun. And again, I'm just really crossing my fingers for a good game. I'm fairly confident that that's going to be the case. But the last time they paired the number one defense and the number one offense, it was over well before halftime. That was another Dan Quinn defense. Obviously, this time it's his high-scoring offense coming in. So we'll see. Hopefully, history doesn't repeat itself in that way.
Yeah, the Broncos-Seahawks game was a real stinker. It was surprisingly bad.
Yeah, and exactly. You get those matchups on paper. You're prepared to see something good, and that was pretty brutal. Actually, I was at my buddy Ryan's place where we're going Sunday that time around as well. So it's good to be in good company just in the event that we do get one that gets out of hand early, I guess.
All right. So for those of you watching, we've got a couple people watching right now. I want your predictions for this game. If you think that the Patriots are going to win, click the like button. If you think that the Falcons are going to win, let's click the heart button and see if you go ahead right now. Let's see if we have any votes here. Okay, I got a couple likes in there.
How do I vote, John? Do I have to go to our Facebook page and then vote?
Go to our Facebook. We're using a different set of software here to broadcast this. But yeah, okay, we've got most people thinking Patriots.
Hard to fault them, It's although I will say I've been surprised. A few people I've talked to this week, and people way smarter than me on NFL stuff, are going with Atlanta. I talked to one NFL guy today who actually said he thinks it's because of their defense and the way it's, obviously, the upward trajectory, but just sort of the speed and whether that's going to be too much for New England. Not exactly an offense built around speed as much as, versatility in multiple ways to hurt people.
We got a comment here. Shout out to a guy who I've known since I was 3, Brian Burgraff, saying, "Let's go Falcons." I know he's not rooting for the Patriots, so we've got some Falcons fans watching this right now. Atlanta has a realistic shot. That's what I'm most excited about with this game, is that the Falcons actually have a realistic shot of knocking off the Patriots. This is not a done.
And even beyond that, John, I think what's cool, it doesn't matter for Sunday, but certainly for Falcons fans, regardless of the outcome Sunday, this team looks built to last. I mean, you keep that core together. Obviously, the defense, the young guys, the young playmakers aren't going anywhere. It will be interesting to see. There's a lot of rumblings coming out of Houston. I don't know what you've heard. Chip Kelly, I guess, is penciled in as the replacement for Kyle Shanahan. So that will be interesting to see what type of an offensive transition. Had you been hearing that? Hub was telling me that yesterday.
I that is the first I've heard of that, of Chip Kelly taking over the Atlanta offense.
Judging by your facial reaction, I'm guessing you're not the biggest fan.
No, I don't like the idea of Matt Ryan running that offense. It just it doesn't seem like a good fit for me.
I don't think that Kelly's going to be asking Matt Ryan to do too much zone read or anything like that.
No, but I don't picture him, faking at the mesh point and taking off at his age. It's just what defense is going to buy that?
Well, maybe after I agree with you on that. I don't think that would be the plan. I think the understanding would be, sort of the hiring would be, with the understanding that Chip Kelly has learned from his previous mistakes, and he's not a personnel guy, and he is a very sharp offensive mind, but all the best coaches adjust to their personnel, not the other way around. So
I don't know
about those backs. He's got to be drooling over having Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman and a big number one like that. In my opinion, you could do a lot worse than someone with his experience. Again, there would take some concessions on his behalf, but I think that would be kind of an unwritten understanding before he would ever sign on.
Yeah, I mean, from a pure offensive knowledge and sort of skill set, Chip Kelly would be a good hire, but I don't think that he's learned from his mistakes. So I don't know. I don't trust it. If it works out, great and great for Atlanta. But yeah, I would. Man, going from
hard for me to think that there's a third head coaching opportunity coming for Chip Kelly. So if he wants to, it's not every day that one of the best scoring, one of the most explosive offenses, not only this season but in NFL history, has an opening at as play caller, and you get to inherit all those pieces. So the prospect is pretty exciting to me, and it's kind of surprising they haven't talked more about Kyle Shanahan leave. I mean, I know it's been a big topic of discussion, but not necessarily with Falcons fans and what the ramifications may be for that offense. That could be pretty troubling, or it could work out just fine.
Yeah, I think they'll probably come to grips with that after Sunday.
Yep, keep their eyes on the prize, and I know our eyes are on the prize, and it's just nice after, again, 2 weeks of kind of beating everything, a little bit like a dead horse. It's nice that we're finally here, or almost here.
Yeah, totally agree. So stay tuned to ProFootballWeekly.com. We're going to have all sorts of great stuff from the Super Bowl. Hub Arkish is down there, all sorts of great columns, and really excited to read his viewpoint from what should be an exciting game. So, Arthur, any last shout-outs or things you want to say before we end the broadcast here?
No, I just hope everyone has fun, enjoy it, everyone be safe, and keep it tuned in to ProFootballWeekly.com. Hub Arkish has had a ton of great stuff already from throughout the week. We've got a couple good podcasts if you're kind of want to further scratch your itch for Super Bowl coverage. There's a ton of good stuff on the site, so I would encourage you to go check it out. And thank you, as always, for being with us today. We're going to do a lot more of these moving forward, so we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, the podcast that Arthur did with Andrew Garda and Ty Shelter is really, really worth your listen. I know it's about 3:30 Central here on Friday. This is great for your drive home for the weekend to get you ready for Sunday's game. It's a really, really solid breakdown.
Thank you. Yeah, 2 podcasts this week. The one with Ty and with Andrew is good X's and O's and breakdown type stuff, matchup type stuff. And then I also caught up with Hub. I want to say it was Wednesday evening from Houston. So he had already taken it. If you want to hear Hub rail on the commissioner, go check out the first podcast because there's all kinds of fun reaction to that total sham of a State of the League address. We can always count on that from good old Raj.
Yeah. All right. So that'll do it for Arthur Arkish. I'm John Solly. Stay tuned with Pro Football Weekly for all sorts of great NFL coverage, not only for the Super Bowl, but free agency and the draft coming up. We got our draft guide coming out. So really just stay tuned with Pro Football Weekly, and thanks for watching.